I've
Cause,
thought of that. I've also thought that thought too, that he's
yeah,
reigning over us now.
right, right.
Well, that's the thing too, is like that's absolutely possible. And there's a lot of evidence, and really, I'm still looking into all this, but I do have a lot of it down of these supporting verses and things like that, because we do see, he was speaking to that generation. He spoke to the high priest and
Mm-hmm.
told him, "You're going to see me coming in the cloud." So that was not some pastor 2,000 years down the road. He was speaking directly to the high priest. He said, "You're going to see me
Sure.
coming in the clouds." So there's no way you can take that any other way and say, "Oh, well, that's some futuristic tense he's speaking about." And then when you read Revelation 20, that's really what shows the Satan's little season, when he's released after the millennial reign. And then after his little season, that's when, Sheol gives up the grave, Judgment Day comes, and, he's tossed into the lake of fire. Everybody gets judged, and we either make the second resurrection or we get thrown in the lake of fire. And that's exactly what Revelation 20 is explaining. And Miranda actually, she was looking through, and she had found that apocalypse of weeks in Enoch. So it's like a 10-week period of weeks that Enoch's describing, which the weeks could represent the ages, And so a lot of people like to say, "Oh, look, we only have, 7,000 years." But here we have Enoch describing 10,000. And he describes exactly what happens in each of these weeks. So I wanted to go over that earlier today, but it's okay. We'll cover it another time. But all throughout Enoch, basically 91 to 93, it's going to be speaking about this apocalypse of weeks. And it describes, basically this little season that happens. Like, it's not all in great detail or anything. It's just a quick, like, hey, this, that is going to happen. And then the next one, this, that's going to happen. Then the next one. So he doesn't go into great detail about specifics, but it definitely seems to be clear that there's a Satan's little season in that, weekly timeline that he's given us. And it happens after, the kingdom's established and all that, Messiah. And it's just very interesting. And I know Ezra, I think it's 4 Ezras, it speaks about that time in the little season as well.
Here's my question that I ask myself.
Yeah.
Because of our translations, and because we read and we know English more than anything else, we read certain things and we could be so deceived and not even know we're deceived, because I say deception is the first thing is you don't think you're deceived.
Yeah.
And is there a time frame when Messiah and the Zadokites have to go out and teach the difference between what is right and what is wrong before you're even accepted to come into that kingdom? Is there a time frame that has to be done before you can even enter? Like Messiah said, there will be many that seek to enter and won't be able to. I don't think these people are lost because they can't enter. They're just not able to enter, because you can't enter into a holy place unless you fully understand what that means. And
that's why,
because of the translations and everything is upside down, everything that we think is right is wrong. And the enemy has had a lot of time to deceive the whole world, even if it's since 1776. Just say, when it came in, he's had a lot of time to deceive. And when you mix up translations, and I know a lot of people don't want to consider text as false. They're never going to look there. They're always going to read text and say, well, we're just going to go by the text. But, you know, he's done some pretty deceitful things. So my question is, look, what if we have to be, I mean, I know that we're taken into the wilderness and she's taught 1,260 days. Okay, well, what if we have to be taught because we got sidetracked somewhere, one way or another? We don't have it all right.
And no, that's what we see in the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know, that's why there's that 3-year period.
Yes.
We also see that with Paul. You know, he waited that, or did that 3-year period right there in Damascus, Qumran.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just shows, you know, that path is narrow, and you have to be willing to, you know, die to the flesh. Absolutely.
Yes. Let's just say I can look at it both ways.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, you know, whether we are pre or post millennial reign, we still have that same goal, and we still have to follow that same narrow path.
Yes.
So if we follow the Torah, we uphold his commands, we teach others the same, you know, we're still going to have a chance at whatever resurrection, the first or the second. It doesn't matter.
Sure. You bet.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
So,
you bet.
A lot of people will toss it out because, you know, they lose hope. And they're like, oh, well, what's the point if we're not going to make the millennial kingdom?
No. I want the city. I don't know about y'all.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. But, well, of course, but, you know, what if that is already passed? Well, we still want to make that kingdom then, the renewed heaven and earth. So, you know, regardless of whether we make and become pillars in the New Jerusalem, or we become the nations outside of New Jerusalem in the renewed heaven and earth, you know, that's fine with me, honestly. You know, I'll be a janitor.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
whether we're in or out.
And we're all striving to enter that rest. I know when Messiah said, he said, I came to give life and that more abundantly. Well, there's a difference between life and abundant life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Two different things he's talking about.
Yeah. And once you realize that,
abundant life.
yeah, because think about it, you know, it says, you know, even the elect may be deceived because there's going to be a deception so great.
Yes.
Well, what if that deception is getting everybody to think they're going to make the millennial reign when it's already happened?
Sure. And it could be, I think, the great deception is not just that. It's many things, because the deception is great.
Yes.
In so many areas that people aren't just getting a hold of. So he brings you out little by little, because if he brought us all out at one time, I mean, we couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it, because I have to go line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Yeah. And it's better to take it slow. I kind of like the turtle idea better, because if you run too fast, you're just going to cram in some stuff, and you're going to get real confused when you do that, instead of just letting him lead you from this step to that step. Because we try to elevate ourselves sometimes, thinking that we're there when he wasn't leading you at all. You didn't wait on him. So.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. You know, it's a little step at a time. And like you said, everything's dumped on you all at once. You're just going to be sitting there in a puddle of confusion. Like, whoa.
Sure. You have to have one piece of the puzzle, and then he has to elevate you.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And so that's why it takes coming together, you know. And, you know, it was a very interesting and good conversation there at the end.
Sure.
Just just the
I
trying to
never seen
deny
Jackson
Paul.
really lost it and got upset, I think.
No, he did. He did. That brother was like, "Hey, can I ask a question?" He was like, "Nope." kept, kept on keeping on. I was like, "Oh wow, shut down."
Well, yeah.
And
But
yeah,
anyways,
no, it was
Hey,
definitely interesting.
Jeremy.
Yeah. Hey, Shalom.
Hey, Shalom. I was just wondering, in that conversation you guys just had on the Zoom, did you talk about the calendar at all, or was it a Paul thing?
Well, so basically to break it down, so it started with Jackson was doing the presentation, and it ended up being on, trying to disprove Paul. He was basically showing like, oh, look, he's got these sketchy things about him, and, you know, really denying him at first, but then, he was towards the end of Jackson's thing, he was like, well, I'm not denying him. I'm just saying, it's pretty sketchy and this and that and another thing. But anyways, after Jackson had left, because he was about to end it, but there was another brother there, David, and he kind of jumped in, and he was speaking with the other brother there. What was his name? Kurt, or I forget his name, but they started talking
Connor.
about Connor. That's what it was. Yes. So they started talking about kind of about the calendar, but more the history aspect and the sons of Zadok. And then the David brother, he started bringing up Little Season. And he's like, yeah, I started looking into this and just started asking questions and lost a bunch of followers for doing so. And, it basically progressed from there. And then towards the end, like we didn't get into the calendar, but we spoke about it and we invited both of them to our group. Actually, Katrina did. She jumped in there and was like, hey, we'd love to have you in our group. So
I want to discuss the calendar and the little season with them and to collaborate. And yeah, I jumped in because I wanted to, get a meeting with them. They both seemed pretty knowledgeable, and I really wanted to collaborate if we could. So
Yeah, I just was wondering because I thought you guys had a number 4 with him, and I just wanted to know if today ended up being that, but obviously not.
yeah, no, it wasn't.
I'm sorry. Did anybody present other than Jackson?
No, it was just Jackson. So that's what I emailed them about while we were still in our fellowship. So I sent him a quick email like, hey, brother, are we still doing our presentation like you had mentioned? And he said, no, I have another, or just a casual talk or something like that is how he worded it. But what we can reschedule yours. And so I was like, oh, okay. So we joined in, and this casual talk, it ended up being, this whole kind of anti-Paul doctrine, basically. And, he was saying, this and that and another thing, but he really wasn't showing any hard evidence. And then, when it came time for people to ask questions, he literally, like a brother came in and said, hey, I got a question. Jackson Snyder was like, nope. And he kept trucking, like going on, not even bothering to respond. And then, he allowed like a couple questions at the end, and then he just kind of like disappeared out of the conversation completely. And it ended up just being, Curtis, us who were in there, and then that David brother. And that's when the conversation got really interesting, and they started talking about things, I didn't even know or realize or think about in that kind of way. So yeah, no, it would be really interesting. We sent them both an invite here to our group and to collaborate, discuss, and come together. And yeah, I think it'll be really awesome. So it started off kind of but then it got really good.
I was actually thinking a couple of weeks ago when he had his heart, his machine lose battery, is it? Pacemaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, he's doing all these calendar things, and now this happened to him, and I was thinking maybe perhaps the Father's really leading him to the truth on the calendar, because perhaps he doesn't have long to go. And it was just interesting. I think it was Ellie was saying something sort of to that effect today as well. So I think he's going to be open.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of those things that they put in your heart. They can stop those anytime they want to. It's not a good thing, but I guess
pretty
it's
scary.
yes. Yeah, they put those in people. They can stop those things anytime they want to. But, Yah's going to keep you no matter what, and they can't do anything without his permission anyway. I don't care what they try.
No weapon formed.
That's right. That is right. Hey, I got a question. Did you get my text, Jeremy? My personal text to you?
Oh yeah.
And,
That's what I've seen.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know.
Do you want to cover that, Katrina? Are you there? Katrina?
I'm getting the kids to bed. What was that?
Oh, sorry. So about Rachel.
So I've just been having really bad feelings about her. Rachel kind of exploited the privacy. Well, not necessarily privacy, because Marissa came out with something and then she used it against her like a couple times. And I told her to apologize in private with her, and she didn't do that. She made it another public display on Telegram. So, but I've been finding that she's doing that often, using people's fears and problems and gossiping behind everyone's backs. And she's been doing some wild things, like she's the only one that hears from the Ruach, and the Ruach told her this, and the Ruach told her that, and the Ruach wants me to tell you this, and she's like acting as some kind of mediator that only she has the answers to everything.
Prophetess, false prophetess.
Correct. And she's saying a lot of false things, and she's dwelling on things that are not calendar related. And she's, she wants to share videos in the group, and she was very angry that she couldn't send her videos. So she created her own thread for her own videos that have nothing to do with really anything, not even Yahuah stuff. I was just like, where is this coming from? Left field. I don't know. I'm starting to piece the pieces together. And last night I did end up calling her just to touch base and see where she was at with things. And she just gave me the wrong kind of vibes. And I was trying to talk to her about the little season and the calendar. And she's just definitely slam dunk. Well, the Father showed me that it's the millennial reign is coming, and the 4,400 and 44,000 and blah blah, and the Father told me this. Not
Didn't she say she didn't care about the calendar?
What? Oh, and I was getting to that. And so when I brought up the calendar, she said that she doesn't really care about the calendar, that Yahusha's going to come back and fix it all. And she's just trying to, like,
She told me,
he's,
she was messaging me, and she said, because I had watched a video of a girl, and because the girl was, I guess, in not all the way in our faith. I don't know. It was just a cool, I shared it even. I mean, and she said, well, did you go correct her? I said, no, I didn't go correct her. I'm not the Torah police. She said, well, you didn't go tell her about the right calendar and all of that stuff. I said, no, I didn't. And I'd appreciate if you wouldn't tell me who to go correct and who to talk to, because that's gossiping and I don't like that. So I said, please just don't even talk to me anymore.
well,
Well,
yeah. So
even if I look at it like this, look, even if somebody doesn't agree with the little season,
right.
okay, and somebody just is not at that point, that they do believe something like that, because I'm not at that point, okay. But I was just reading the comments that nobody blocks anybody here, so I was wondering.
It's not only about that. It's just kind of,
That's all.
yeah, it's not block. You know what? We've never had to really block anybody before. And this was the first time. And me and Jeremy and Marissa sat back and was just like, we were going through everything. And she doesn't really talk about the calendar stuff. And it seems as though she's meddling in people's lives and calling people out for doing something that they're actually not doing and spreading lies and gossiping. And just for the sake of the group, we decided that it's just not worth the risk, because she's already started with me, Jeremy, and Marissa on certain things. And I'm seeing it for what it is. And I just felt that she was becoming,
So
I don't know.
basically, to break it down real quick. So
Yeah. I'm going to go
without,
back to putting her to bed. I'll try to
yeah,
get her to bed. Okay.
yeah, no worries. So not trying to gossip or slander or anything, but this is just what we've noticed. So Marissa had mentioned something in the chat, and without going and speaking to Marissa more about, what her plans, or anything was about what she spoke about, she made this huge assumption and was just kind of, making it this public spectacle. And so there was kind of some heat between her and Marissa there. And so we went to both of them privately. Me and Katrina went to both of them privately, and we spoke with them. And so when speaking with Rachel, we were just trying to say, like, hey, have you spoken with her privately? Have you attempted to speak with her privately and apologize? And she was just like, no, why should I? This person does this, that person does that. A lot of people are coming to me about this person. And it's like, well, hold on. First of all, we're not talking about these other people, and none of these allegations have ever been brought to me. So without
Well, yeah,
going,
if we have alt, if you know that someone has alt with you, you are to go to that person first, and then you go to the rest of the people.
Yeah, and that's what we were trying to tell her. We were just like, hey, just reach out to her privately, and you guys can probably settle this. And it was basically, she gave a lot of excuses why she shouldn't do that, and she's already done what she had to do. And it was just really dismissive kind of behavior. And so we kind of let it slide for a little bit, but then that's what happened last night when Katrina was speaking with her. She was saying, well, I don't care about the calendar, things like that. And it's like, well, why join a calendar fellowship group then? That's what we're discussing here. So.
Well, I understand. I mean, I understand. Yeah, it's y'all's platform. Okay, so y'all have to make the decisions to do whatever. I don't know. I just wondered. I just wondered. I mean, I thought she had some good things to say as far as health.
She's on TikTok, Lee. Do you have TikTok?
I do now, and I don't get on TikTok. I don't like
She,
TikTok.
and that's the thing. She does have really
That's
good
like
things
time
to say.
ticking away to me. But anyway,
No, yeah. No, and she does have good things to say. Yes, of course.
yeah.
But
Okay.
it's just the way everything went down, and when me and Katrina went to her privately, it was just very like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Why should I? Pointing at everybody else. And it's like, look, we're not talking about everybody else. And, if you're going to bring allegations against other people, we need to see some evidence, not just, hearsay. So we were just trying to approach her and say, hey, look, let's just do what the scripture says. Go to your brother, go to your sister privately if you have a problem. That's all we were asking. And she just did not want to do it. And then, like last night was, I guess, that's what really upset Katrina was, she was speaking to her over the phone, and, she was just like, well, I don't care about any of that.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe we can speak to her tomorrow or something, figure out what's going on. Because
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the whole situation. So
I know.
I mean, it's y'all's platform.
Saying,
Y'all do what you want. So I mean,
no, I'm just saying.
I don't make those kind of decisions. I mean, I even have apologized to people when I wasn't even wrong, just so we could restore the relationship. So
yeah, and trust me, it's not an easy position to be in. So
right, I understand. Okay, enough of that. Anyway.
Yeah, no. So I don't know if she wants to talk about it. We could talk about these things. That's fine. Really, we'd really have to talk with Katrina and Marissa privately, really, about the rest of all this. But
right. I'm one for restoration, no matter what. So
yeah, no, I agree.
if it can be restored, it can be restored. If it can't, okay, that's fine. You have to go the other way. So
I mean, I just feel like there needs to be some level of interest in what our whole fellowship is about. And if there's not, then why are you here?
Sure. Well, I mean, I've done calendars since 2011, and I've done a lot, but I know it's just not that. Okay, it's many other things that people need to deal with. I've seen people that study calendar and just calendar and calendar, and they don't study any other things and not worried about the condition of their own heart and the way they treat people. And can you imagine? I just think to myself, look, what if a person's got the calendar wrong? They treated all these other people wrong because of the calendar. They sit before the Messiah, and the Messiah said, you had the calendar all wrong. Look how you treated these people. I just, man, that's scary to me.
Absolutely. And yeah.
And Jeremy, the only reason I'm still here is because of your kindness and your patience and your humbleness.
Well, all praise to the Most High. It takes a lot of time to learn patience, especially.
Sure. You bet.
But, yeah, sure, things get heated, but like
you said, that's fine.
Yeah,
some things got to be hashed out. That's okay.
Yeah, ironing, sharpening iron takes some heat. So
yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I mean, if you want to confront somebody, confront them. That's okay. They don't need to go run and hide because they're confronted.
Oh, exactly.
No.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. And, we don't ever want to block people or have to remove people. Usually they kind of do it themselves.
Right.
But it's just for right now, we had to remove her because, we need to figure this out because from what we've seen, she's taking people's information and then, using it against them behind the scenes or even in public. So I don't want to mention the name, but she called out a few
No,
people's
it's
names
okay.
too. Yeah. So I was just like, that's not cool. This is just hearsay. You don't have any evidence. So I'm not even going to, entertain that idea right now because that's not even what we're discussing. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that happen that, we probably shouldn't be talking about in public, but yeah. So
Yeah. No.
that,
We'll just drop it there. I just had a question. We don't have to talk
yeah,
about that. We can jump over to the other two guys and
yeah,
and
exactly. So
I'd love to get into conversation with Connor's a great guy to pick his head. So
yeah, no,
he's got a lot of things.
he seems very knowledgeable. That other brother, he was like straight up willing to learn. He was like, yeah, just because, it may be wrong doesn't mean, they don't have something right in what they're saying. Just looking
That's
at it
correct.
the wrong way.
I had to learn that the hard way. It's I remember listening to Father would lead me somewhere and I wouldn't hear them because they said something I didn't agree with. And they were wrong in what they were saying. But the other things they had to say were good. So they did have wrong. I didn't want to hear them anymore. And this was years ago. I didn't want to hear him anymore because, man, it was totally wrong. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not listening to that guy no more. Well, Father leads me back to that same person. And then all of a sudden, I get 5 or 6 things that just by listening to him, that the first thing I didn't want to hear. I didn't want to hear the thing that he had wrong, but he had 5 other things right, just like every one of us. I mean, we've all got something right, but we've also got things wrong too. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's why, we all need each other. We all have a piece of this puzzle. And, yeah, we all need each other.
Yes, sir.
Wait, sorry, I was reading Jermaine's message. Go ahead, share whatever scripture you got there, sister.
Hey, so I came in after I found a scripture for something, but I hadn't read above it and I hadn't read below it because I just stumbled across it. You know how Katrina and I have been chatting with people regarding that the law still remains. So I've gone, oh, here's a good one. And I know that you guys know it. It's in Jubilees 23. In verse 26, it says, in those days the children will begin to study the laws, to seek out the commands, and to return to the right way. I've gone, yeah, that's a really good one. That's great. But reading above it and below it, I'm just like going, hang on, where are we on the timeline with that scripture? Do you know anything about Jubilees 23? Have you guys looked into that much?
Remind me what it says. I've read it a few times.
Okay, so, well, in 27, oh, look, it's a really big chapter, and it's just so meaty. There's a lot in there, but the following verse says, the days will begin to become numerous and increase, and humanity as well, generation by generation and day by day, until their lifetimes approach 1,000 years, and to more years than the number of days have been. There will be no old man, nor anyone who has lived out his lifetime, because all of them will be infants and children. They will complete and live their entire lifetime peacefully and joyfully. There will be neither a Satan nor any evil one who will destroy, for their entire lifetime will be times of blessing and healing. And it goes on and on. But so I'm not seeing that in our lifetime right now. Like that 26, what the original one that I read in
What
those
was
days, the
that
children
you
will
just
begin
read?
to. That's Jubilees 23,
23.
26, and then I just read. Yeah, then I just read from 27 on.
Okay.
But like that 26 was like one of those bingos. Yes, we're in the last days we will seek out the commands. But
Yeah.
the rest of that information is meaning something different to the last days. I don't know if anyone else has really looked into that.
I will have to look into that more for sure.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
even the stuff beforehand, all of 23 is pretty mind-blowing. But getting to that part, it was just like, whoa. Their lifetime approach 1,000 years. So is it talking the millennial or is it talking forever? Anyway,
It
sorry, I
sounds
hadn't
millennial.
read much. Yeah. So, I'm just wondering if other people had found any interest in that.
Yeah, because I think that's
Or
going to
knew.
be that millennial reign time. And, after that, of course, because Satan's little season, he comes back, and here we are with, poisoned air, poisoned water, poisoned ground, poisoned food. So that shortens our lifetimes even more. And yeah, but no, that's interesting. That's something we need to dig into a bit more there, it seems.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just came in to share that number 26, 23, 26 to go, more proof that, in, these days we will be seeking out his commands and returning to the right way. Anyway.
Yeah, me and my husband just read the same thing that you just read. We're on 29 right now. But when we came across that, we were trying to figure it out where it says like the old men will look like little babies or something or children. And I was like, you know how sometimes scripture will refer to us as children in our walk. Like, so say the people in the Baptist or whatever, the first churches we came out of, those are still babies. They believe, but they don't really do any works. They don't have any meat. And so I think it's like something kind of like that, as far as like the old men being children, or, because there's a lot of old people coming into this faith right now, and they're just like children again.
Yeah. In verse 25, it says, the children's hairs will turn white with grey hair. A child who is 3 weeks of age will look like one whose years are 100, and their condition will be destroyed through distress and pain. I was like, what? Where's this?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got stuck
Anyway,
on
it's really interesting.
pretty wild. That's funny though that you're bringing up that same verse. I didn't know what to do with it either.
Unless you come to me as a child, you will know I's kingdom.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I wonder if that's meaning spiritually, like.
Yeah, I mean, a child is innocent.
We were reading Matthew today, and Yahushua said that I speak to you in parables, that everything, like pretty much everything is a parable that he says. So maybe that, I know we're supposed to take everything in context and as it is, but also there's that other layer, that is a parable.
but it's been given
Yeah.
you to know the mysteries of the kingdom. He spoke to them in parables. But the ones that understood, that he opened their ears to understand the mystery, they understood, and it wasn't parables anymore.
No, lots of interesting stuff.
Yeah, it'll be good to go and read over it slowly and just find a couple of different versions to read from, because some things can read differently sometimes as well. Very interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, it's definitely been an awesome Shabbat today, for sure. So yeah, we just wanted to have this little after party real quick, kind of go over what happened in Jackson's Zoom there. So yeah, it started off but it ended pretty well.
Yeah. Well, guys, I've got to go to bed. I got to get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah, no, me as well. So
I don't know what time
yeah,
you got there, but it's 10:56 here.
yeah, I know it's getting pretty late over there for Katrina as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no, so yeah, thank you all for joining. Yeah, again, awesome fellowship as usual. Didn't get to cover all the things we wanted to, but it worked out. But yeah, so I guess that'll be all for this evening. So yeah, shalom to everybody. Pray you have a blessed rest of your evening or day. And we'll see you again next Shabbat, same time.
Shalom, y'all.
Shalom, shalom.